Welcome to the fourth video in the series Framing the Image, Combining Qualitative Content with Film Analysis. The previous video raised awareness of what it means to use filmic material for your research project. I explained how I select filmic elements that I deem most relevant for my research on the depiction of religion in Turkish television series. It's essential to take into account text, action, sound, props and costume, time and space, and other filmic aspects. In this video, we will use a qualitative content analysis method to analyze large quantities of filmic material. We will especially pay attention to building a workable coding frame. Many scholars developed qualitative content analysis methods. I use it as proposed by Margit Schreier. The method is suitable for research on film and series because it offers a systematic approach to analyzing the production of meaning by building a category-based coding frame. In addition, because it conforms to the research question, it is flexible. Where do we start when we want to build a coding frame for our qualitative content analysis on a film or television series? First of all, we have to define a research question. What do we want to know from our material? We have to collect and select our data and then build our coding frame. A coding frame consists of categories, subcategories, and if necessary, subcategories. The coding frame is directly related to your research question. The categories and subcategories represent the main sub-questions related to your analysis. A coding frame consists of several tables of each category, in which you categorize a selection of your data related to your research question. In the case of television drama, you might want to analyze the whole series. You must realize that an in-depth analysis of a series such as Magnificent Century, with 139 episodes of around 2.5 hours each, is highly demanding. Qualitative content analysis can help you categorize your material and select relevant cases to focus your attention on. You can build a coding frame for the whole series, where you collect information based on a hierarchy, ranging from highly abstract to very detailed. The main category in this coding frame reflects the overall research question, and on the subsequent lower levels, the information you collect becomes more and more detailed. This complies with Schreier's advice to divide the material into smaller pieces. For instance, in the case of television series, this can be a season, an episode, or a scene. You may build your frame based on one section and later extrapolate it to the rest of the material. Each level of the coding frame consists of a table questioning your material. For each category and subcategory, you make a table in which you formulate questions for your material based on your research question. For instance, if you want to research the depiction of religion in Magnificent Century Season 1, this means 24 episodes of around 2.5 hours each. In the hierarchy of the coding frame, this is the first category. On this level, it is impossible to focus on each scene's details. Therefore, in the table of your coding frame, we ask questions on more abstract characteristics. In our table, we will include questions such as which religions are depicted, in how many episodes is religion depicted, which plot lines focus on religious issues. Are there, for instance, religious functionaries among the main characters? Once you get a good impression of how religion in the series season is expressed, you need to step down to the level of the series episodes. It's at this level that you start including elements of film analysis, as I will demonstrate in the next video. To show you how a qualitative content analysis combined with film analysis works on the level of an episode, we will now look at my analysis of the third episode of the first season of Magnificent Century. I pose the following questions to my material. How many scenes overtly refer to religion? Which religions are depicted? What kind of textual references are made to religion and how many? Which actions relate to religion? Which sounds relate to religion? Which props and costumes refer to religion? Which time and space is related to religion? Are there any other filmic aspects related to religion? As you can see, this set of questions contains questions related to the filmic level and more abstract questions to grasp the depiction of religion in the whole episode. The answers to these questions contain quantitative and qualitative information related to the questions you have defined. Once you have determined which scenes in which episodes contain content related to religion, you will have to descend to the lowest category of my coding frame, the level of the scene. As you see, this qualitative content analysis helps you to systematically categorize elements referring to religion in a television series, from abstract to detailed. In this manner, you focus and order your research material. On the scene level, it is absolutely necessary to use film analysis because all filmic elements contribute to the scene's meaning. The questions you formulate for this coding frame table relate directly to the categories of film analysis that we determined earlier on. This means that if we analyze a scene related to Islam, we pose questions related to the filmic categories of text, action, sound, props and costumes, time and space, and other filmic aspects. The questions I ask my material on the level of the scene are the following. Which text is spoken out and, if applicable, written by the characters indicating an Islamic context? Which actions taken by the characters or experienced by them relate to Islam? These may be gestures related to prayer, reading the Quran, or anything else that indicates a character's Muslim belief. Which sounds, including music, relate to Islam? It may be a prayer, a sermon, a religious expression, the call for prayer, or anything else that indicates a Muslim belief. Which props and costumes relate to Islam? This can be pious dress, a headscarf and a long coat, a beard or a cap or a Quran reader, a mosque or a graveyard, or anything else that might indicate Islam. Does the historical time or the time of production relate to specific events related to Islam? And in addition, it considers the space depicted, and in addition, it considers the space depicted. This might be, for instance, a Muslim country with mosques. And finally, which other filmic aspects provide a religious meaning, such as camera handling, the film's color, or the shot's perspective? Based on these questions, in the next video of the series, I will demonstrate an analysis of the conversion scene of Hürrem Sultan by Sultan Süleyman in the third episode of Magnificent Century. In this video, I explained what qualitative content analysis stands for and how to build a coding frame related to your research question. In the next video, I will demonstrate how you may use a coding frame table in a case study. I will concentrate on an example of my analysis of the lowest category of my coding frame, a scene in which religion is depicted. At this level, film analysis is an essential tool because the questions you pose in your table are directly inspired by film analysis. See you there.